Hi, I'm Shella Sheikh and I'm International Makeup Artist for Lancome. I'm here with my lovely model Verity and today we're at feelunique filming a beautiful bronze look. This is one of my favourite looks to create because you can use the same product for the cheeks and for the eyes as well. I'm going to define the lashes so you get a great false lash effect and keep the lips quite nude and glossy. So first I'm just going to start with a cream cleanser. The aim is to get the skin looking as good as possible before the makeup goes on. So I'm just removing the cleanser with a cotton, wiping it off so it's nice and clean. Next I'm just going to tone the skin. I'm using an alcohol-free toner. Using a toner is basically going to remove any cleanser that's not come off already, and it's also going to balance the pH levels of the skin. So next thing I'm doing here is just using a tissue just to blot off the cleanser and the toner that we've used to make sure it's all completely removed from the skin. Next thing I'm going to put on the skin is a radiant serum, and again just spread it evenly onto the forehead, cheeks, nose and chin, and again just want to massage that through. So I'm not using the serum around the eyes. The skin around the eyes is a lot thinner than the rest of the face, so the more things you put under the eyes, it'll just end up making you look tired, so I'm just going to use the essentials around there. Next step I'm using is moisturizer. Now I'm using a cream gel texture. Because we're doing a summer look, I find a cream gel is nicer to use in the summer where it just does get a bit warm. So next step I'm going to use eye cream, and again this is a gel texture. So I'm just going to smooth this on underneath the eyes, and for this I'm using my ring finger to apply it because it has the lightest touch. I would say to make sure that you do use an eye cream for around the eyes. The skin is a lot thinner and it does have extra needs to the skin on the face. I'm going to use a pore minimizing primer first, and I'm going to apply that just around the nose. This basically acts like a reverse powder, so it helps to keep your foundation in place and then keep the shine at bay at the same time. The next thing I'm going to use is an illuminating primer. Keep it to the tops of the cheeks, above the brows, and just up to the temples here. And then I'm just going to pop a little bit just on the bridge of the nose and also on the chin. So next I'm going to prep the skin with foundation, and for this I'm actually using a liquid foundation in the compact. So this is the Miracle Cushion foundation. I'm only going to apply it where I just want to even up the skin tone. So we tend to need a little bit more correction in the center. There tends to be a little bit more redness. So just very lightly building that up. So this is really good if you want to have a very light coverage. You can just keep blending it out with the sponge. If you want to build up the coverage, you can just pat it and roll it across, but it's just great to throw into your bag for touch-up. So the next thing I'm going to use is a light reflective concealer pen. I'm actually going to apply it like a big triangle under the eyes. I'm going to create a point in the middle of the cheek and just stripe the concealer to the top of the cheek here into the inner corner of the eye. Now the concealer I've used is a couple of shades lighter than the skin, which is going to give more of a lifting effect. So if you want a little bit more, you can just build up a little bit more around the eyes. And I'm just blending it out with a foundation brush, which I find is easier to blend because it's quite wide, so it doesn't give you streaks. So if you want to build the coverage with it, just use a patting motion like that. But if you want to just blend it out like I do on the cheeks, you can just sweep it. And then I'm taking a little bit of it and I'm popping the concealer across the eyelid. So this makes a great eye base for your makeup too. And also, I like to just pop it around the edge of the lips, so that light is gonna help make the lips look fuller. And just on the bridge of the nose, just blend that off here to add to the contour. And then you can also pop a bit under the brows, above the brows. So I'm going to set that with a little bit of translucent powder. Just tap the brush off on your hand, just to make sure you don't end up with too much around the eyes, so that it's not drying the area out. Just press and roll that underneath the lower lid. So for the contour, I'm using Velvet powder. So this is a optical blurring effect powder, which is great to use on its own. but you can use the warmer colours as well as a bronzer or a contour shade. You want to go across the cheeks and into the temples and a little bit just down the jawline here. So if you imagine a 3 shape there and an E shape here, but I don't want it really stripy, so I'm going to use a soft blusher brush. You can see the size of that as well. It's quite small, and not using something that's too large because it's going to help me control where I'm applying the colour. I'm going to find where the shadow of the cheek is, so I'm just run my finger down from the top of the cheekbone, and then when I feel the slight dip, that's where you want the contour, just here. So contouring essentially is just adding definition and shape into the face. So wherever naturally there's shadow on the face, you can enhance it with a deeper colour. And when naturally there's light, you want to highlight and enhance, which is what we've already done with our concealer pen. One of my biggest tips is to make sure that you're building it up in very thin layers and building it up slowly rather than having loads of colour go on at one time. That way you'll get the most natural finish to your makeup and probably also not feel like you have to take it off. So next thing I'm going to do is the eyebrows, and I'm going to use a pencil with a brush on the end. So the brush actually helps to shape the brows. So if you just brush up the brows first. When I'm working on the brows, I split it into 2 sections. So I start first from the inner corner to the arch, that's section 1, and then from the arch to the end of the eye, just here. I'm going to lightly sketch the pencil through from the inner corner up to the arch. So it's almost like a straight line going through. Just measure up your pencil from the side of the nose to the outside of the eye, just here. And then that way you know that that's your stopping point and you'll have the right length for your eyebrows. So next we are going to do the beautiful contoured eye. So I'm going to use the same powder that we've used on the cheeks, which is the bronzing contour powder. So I'm using a fluffy brush and I'm just going to very lightly wash that across the eyes. Again, rather than having a bold line, I'm really just blending that out. So the line underneath is just meeting up on the corner here. And rather than just going round, I've elongated the shape of the eye makeup, so it's a lot more flattering on the eyes. As I'm just using the same colour, I'm going to build up a little bit more depth into the contours. So it's easy to do when you're just looking straight ahead and just go in with the same colour and then just build it up from the outside here, going up to the middle, and then I'm going to build it up a tiny bit more underneath. So I'm going to finish the eyes now with mascara, and for this I'm using the Grandiose mascara, which is great because it's got a swan neck wand, really intense black formula. You can really work this through the roots of the lashes and it looks like you've got eyeliner on the rim of the eyes. So I'm starting from the outer corner of the lash because it helps to give a lift to the lash. So I'm just doing the bottom lashes as well, and to make sure you don't get too much build-up on the bottom lashes, I press the mascara wand onto the base of the bottom lashes rather than drag them all the way through to the tip. So this mascara wand is really good for doing the lower lashes because it has these little teeth, and actually to build up the best volume on the lashes, you can just push the mascara wand at the roots of the lash to build up more volume rather than having to pull it all the way through to the tip. So now we're going to finish with the lips, and I've already prepped them with a homemade scrub. So I've used a little bit of sugar and honey, and I've just rubbed that over Verity's lip, and I'm going to use a tiny bit of balm and just using a little bit more of the concealer pen. Because there is a natural pinkness in Verity's lips, I want to make sure I'm neutralising that before I put a nude on. Just a tip, when you are choosing a nude colour for your lips, go for one that matches the natural colour of your lips. So I'm going to use this and just pop a little bit on. What's great about this lipstick here is the shape of it. So I can really use it in the Cupid's bow just to shape a line. And then just to kind of take the edge off of it, I'm just dabbing that with my fingers because I don't like it to look too overdone. So I'm almost just dabbing that off with my fingers. So to take this look from daytime to evening, I'm going to add a pop of colour using a fuchsia pink lipstick. So I'm still using the Shine Lover, and I'm just going to pop this on top of the nude. You could also use a tangerine if you wanted to, or red. It's entirely up to you, but it just helps to complement the look and add that little bit more colour